things from this neither world visit certain people. Okay. Now, what hangs around kids a lot of times is the easy thing. Ghost likes to hang around kids. Okay. Because kids are innocent, and a lot of female ghosts like to hang around, especially babies, because they can't have anymore. Okay. And that little baby or that little kid reminds them of the kid they used to have. So a lot of times when, and this has been photographed, captured on, now that people got surveillance camera in their houses, this has been captured so many times where you have a baby crib and something is rocking the baby crib, or the toy above the baby crib, the little toy is moving. Okay. And the baby is laughing and giggling in the middle of the night. Okay. Now, maybe you don't like ghosts playing with your kids. Okay. But that is one of the things that is in this world. And when you have those problems, you just need to do things to get rid of the ghosts and to leave your kids alone if you don't want to have your kids to have invisible friends. I had invisible friends when I was a kid. A lot of kids have invisible friends. And kids are very honest. If you ask a kid, are you saying things in your room? And they will tell you. And if you ask over and over again and keep getting the same answers, maybe you need to look into that. Now, are ghosts the only thing that's in this shadow world? Of course not. There is some creatures out there which, most of the ghosts that hang around kids are benevolent. They don't try to do any harm. But you have a lot of these types of ghostly creatures or shadow creatures. They like to hang around people that have mental problems, or kids are slow, or kids are not working, they're having, or very depressed, or things like that. And they will attract these creatures. Now, all of these creatures are ghosts. A lot of these creatures, and this is why if you get very depressed or start having, a lot of, depression problems or whatever, or mental problems, you start having these very weird dreams about these things, and you catch them in the corner of your eye, but you don't really see them. Because there are creatures in neither world which feed off of negative energy and negative emotions. And they feed off of you. And they feed off of your energy level, especially people that cannot defend themselves. That's the reason, a lot of people that, have severe mental illness. There's weird things that's happening in the house. Okay. And this is a problem because you're just because you have someone which are having problems, or something happened and you're going through a bout of depression, or you're very depressed, and then you start having these weird dreams, and then you start seeing things in the corner of your eye. These are things that want to feed off of you. Okay. And you might say to me, man, that's just legend. Nobody believes in that. But do you know this is why when people are sick or in the hospital for hundreds and thousands of years, this is why someone have to watch people when they're sick. You can't leave people that are sick alone because they have noticed that things will happen to them. So when people are in the hospital or when people are like this, it's always good to have some kind of visitors or someone to watch over them. The old legend is that you had the old hag would actually come and sit on sick people. And these creatures would actually feast off of them. Okay. And we have got, now that we got cameras everywhere, we have captured very strange things in hospitals. And we don't know what these things are. Some of these things do not look like people. Some of these things are very weird looking. Okay. And in places like insane asylums and in mental wards, you get into these very weird looking creatures. Okay. This stuff is very, very strange. Okay. Because there's just a very thin veil between our world and the other world. This gets into dimensional theory that we're not going to talk about now, but all dimensions share the same physical space. It's the same thing as the best way to understand dimensional theory is like watching TV. Your television set is receiving 200 signals from 200 stations, but it only displays them one at a time. So as you change channel, every station comes into focus. That's if your TV is working properly. But if your TV is not working properly, sometimes the signals gets blurred and you're watching one station and you can see another channel interfering. This is what happens when they do things and they blur the line. And we blur the line between our dimension and the next dimension. This happens a lot to people that do LSD. Okay. People that do DMT. People that do all kind of stuff that maybe you shouldn't be doing. Okay. And you can also do this without using drugs, which they have done accidentally or on purpose. You have people that, if you don't sleep for a long time, you will start blurring the line between being awake and being asleep. And people that suffer from severe insomnia, they will tell you, last night I got up and I don't know if that was a dream or was that reality, but I know I got up. Or maybe I didn't get up. Maybe they don't know the difference. And they talk about they saw this or they did this, but they don't know if it's reality or not reality. That is the reason it's important to keep that line. The same thing that happens with people that use a lot of drugs, mushrooms, DMT, all these other ones. If you use it too much and abuse it, it starts to blur the line and people start talking about, I had this vision. And I was like, well, no, maybe that wasn't a vision. Maybe that was reality. They lose the line and they start to see things which is beyond our reality. And they start seeing creatures and things. And this can be very, very scary because once you lose reality in what is real, what is not real. Okay. That's scary. Somebody on the chat was just talking about succubus and incubus. These are these vampire type creatures. Okay. Incubus and succubus like to prey on people. Okay. But incubus and succubus, are they shadow creatures? Some of them can be, especially energy vampires. I would think of them as shadow creatures. But there are actually vampires out there, and we have a show about vampires. They actually exist. Okay. But they're not supposed to be, under the new treaty that they're under. They're supposed to be buying their food like everybody else. If you need blood, you need to buy your blood. It's not acceptable to be biting and doing things like that. Okay.